You know that feeling when something in your house feels off. Not broken, not obvious, just wrong. That's how it started for me. One weak shower, one strange sound next door, and one old man who thought my house, and my water, still belonged to him. I didn't yell. I didn't confront him. I didn't call the police. I just turned one valve. And by morning, his entire house was in chaos. I live in Asia, in the capital city. Property here is expensive, unless you get lucky. I did. I bought a house from family friends who had moved out of the country nearly 3 years ago. They needed money urgently, so they sold it to me at a price that honestly felt illegal. The catch: the house had been abandoned mid-renovation. No proper front door lock, just a padlock. No gate. No one living there for years. Which meant the neighborhood had gotten comfortable. On my very first day after moving in, I found a stranger's bike parked inside my garage. Not outside. Not near the house. Inside. I moved it out to the street and installed a gate the same day. That evening, an angry man came knocking. Hard. Aggressive. I didn't open the gate. From the window, I watched him fume for 15 minutes, then silently grab the bike and leave. That was my introduction to the neighborhood. Things calmed down after that. Mostly. People kept blocking my gate because they still thought the house was abandoned. No parking sign fixed that. Then came the shower. Last week, I was showering when I noticed the water pressure suddenly dropped. Not completely, just weaker. At the same time, I heard something else. My next door neighbor's water pump. Now, context matters here. This neighbor was an older man living in a 3-story house. He lived on the ground floor. The top 2 floors were rented to tenants. In this setup, water pumps are essential. City water pressure can't push water up that high. And this guy, he hated that the house next to him had been sold. He'd complained constantly to my friends, the previous owners. They warned me about him. But honestly, I'm 6 feet tall, I have 3 dogs, and I mind my business. I didn't think he'd be a problem. Turns out, I underestimated entitlement. The pump noise stuck in my head. So I tested something. I waited until his pump turned off. Then I turned on my taps again. Perfect pressure. Every time. Pump on. My pressure dropped. Pump off. Pressure normal. That's when it clicked. The water bills. For years, even while the house was empty, the water bills were unusually high. Everyone blamed leaks. But leaks don't behave like this. Someone had been siphoning water directly from my supply. At some point during those 3 years of abandonment, this man had decided my house was his personal water source. Why pay for water when the neighbor's house is empty? And now that I lived there, he just kept doing it. I thought about confronting him. Going legal. Then I realized something. This wasn't about money. Water here is cheap. My entire monthly bill, washing dogs, car, garden, barely hits $5. This was about principle. About teaching an entitled old thief that other people's property isn't community property. And I knew exactly how to do it. I didn't touch his property. I didn't trespass. I didn't break any laws. I just turned off my water at the mains. That's it. On Monday night, I waited. Around midnight, I heard his pump kick on. That was my cue. I walked outside and shut off my water supply completely. Here's the beautiful part. Our household water tanks use ball valves. When the tank is empty, The valve stays open and tells the pump to keep running. But because I'd cut the supply, the tank never filled, so the pump never stopped. Anyone who understands pumps knows this is a nightmare scenario. Pumps are not meant to run dry. They overheat. They draw excessive power. They fail. And his house still had 1990s electrical wiring. At around 3 a.m., chaos erupted next door. I woke up to voices. Tenants shouting. Doors opening. Confusion. Turns out his pump had been running non-stop for hours. It didn't just burn out. It destroyed his electrical system. Fuses blew. Wiring overheated. The entire house lost both power and water. And here's the part that really sealed his fate. In my country, water and electricity are legally protected tenant rights. Landlords cannot cut them off, even accidentally. His tenants were furious, threatening lawsuits, demanding immediate repairs. Meanwhile, my house had power. My house had water. Because I wasn't stealing from anyone. By morning, repairmen were crawling all over his place. New wiring, new pump, emergency labor, all because